Hello, my dear Bridget and sisters. Um, a blessed Holy Monday to everyone. And we have just celebrated the Palm Sunday, Passion Sunday. And today we're going to have the continuation of our reflection for this Holy Week. And let's start with the sign of the cross, the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. From the Gospel of John, chapter 12, verse 1 to 11. 6 days before Passover, Jesus came from Bethany, where Lazarus was, whom Jesus had raised from the dead. They gave a dinner for him there, and Martha served, while Lazarus was one of those reclining at table with him. Mary took a liter of costly perfumed oil made from genuine aromatic nard and anointed the feet of Jesus and dried them with her hair. The house was filled with fragrance of the oil. Then Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples and one who would betray him, said, "Why was this oil not sold for 300 days' wages and given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief and held the money back and used to steal the contributions. And Jesus said, "Leave her alone. Let her keep this for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." The large crowd of the Jews found out that he was there and came, not only because of him, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. And the chief priests plotted to kill Lazarus too, because many of the Jews were turning away and believing Jesus because of him. From the Gospel of John, chapter 12, 1 to 11. And today, let us reflect this wonderful Gospel. Maganda ang Gospel natin ngayon. Now, I have a question. Questions. Then later on, questions again for our reflection for today. Do you have a friend or friends in your community, or even before you enter this religious community of the Bridgets? I ask this because, as you know, Jesus showed his love for us through holy friendship. Holy friendship. Not just friendship, but a holy friendship. The Gospel today, Holy Monday, in this Gospel of John chapter 12, is about the hospitality of Martha's household with her siblings, Mary and Lazarus, whom Jesus raised from the dead. And the central dramatic scene happened when Mary anointed the feet of Jesus with a litro, 1 liter of expensive perfume and dried with her hair. No? What a profound expression of love for a friend. No? Siguro pag pumunta ko dyan sa kumbet ninyo, hindi lang 1 liter of oil, 1 drum of crude oil o kaya vegetable oil for cooking. No, just joking, no. And I know very well how hospitable your community is, your convent. For me, every time I used to visit, no, thanks for that. And payback time. That's why I give this recollection. No, just because we're friends. Yeah, di ba? We are friends. Friend niyo ba ako? Okay, anyway. As you know, in the story, there's someone actually complained, no other than Judas. Okay? Judas from the land of Ish. Kaya Judas Iscariot. who complained and later betrayed Jesus. No? But let us focus instead on the beautiful relationship with these siblings, between Martha, Mary, and Lazarus and Jesus. It was a story of friendship. In the gospel story, we would notice how friendly attitude of Jesus spread all throughout the region, where he conducted his ministry, his preaching, his healing ministry, and his friendly approach, even to tax collectors, to sinners, to prostitutes, to the sick people, the blind, the lepers, and even to his detractors or enemies, just like the elders of Israel, the scribes, the Pharisees, and the Sadducees. And most importantly, he's friends with his 12 apostles, with a traitor within their rank. Okay? So, not easy to have friends then, di ba? For example, for those who have Facebook, like me, who has a lot of friends, and friends that I do not know. O, di ba? It's difficult. You have friends but you don't know, because sometimes I encounter, Father, we're friend on Facebook, ha? Who you? Anyway, no. So, just like any other persons in our generation today, it is actually unstoppable, especially in our generation. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have YouTube. There are actually social platforms, wherein you can find friends and you can socialize in a digital form. Yan, no? So yung trend ngayon eh. Anyway, much more of this moment where people around the world are actually under quarantine, just like you and me, no? So we are all quarantined and we cannot get out, of our homes, of our places, of our convents. Di ba ngayon? We are like monks, monks, or contemplative na rin kayo, no problem, no? So we can't really go out because of the coronavirus. It's now becoming monumental occurrence, especially to social media. Kaya I just recently mentioned yung sinasabi na the church is empty because there were no attendance among the congregation. No, not true. The church might be empty, but it started to become, and being a church, a domestic church. We are going back to the very genesis and ancient tree of being a church. The church not actually empty but diffused, for being a domestic church. Nagko-consolidate lang. Anyway, by the very terms itself, social media, which reflects and affirms our basic human condition that we need someone to relate with, or we will not survive. We will die of isolation if we cannot relate, if we don't have friends. So there are already some news, even suicides, because of this pandemic crisis. Kasi many people actually not sanay or what you call this, attune, or parang nasanay na sa to be isolated. No. To be alone may not actually committing suicide. Anyway, going back to the gospel reflection, again, Jesus showed his love for us through a holy friendship, which entails a holy affection to one another. No? Who cares for one another? who listens to you unconditionally when you need most. A friend, a person to rely on, to lean on when you have problems, most especially. A person, a friend who would understand your strength and weaknesses. A friend, a person who will defend you in justice and right. A person whom you can trust and entrust the sacredness of your being, no? Who are willing even to make a sacrifice for you. Or do you have a kind of friend like that in your community, or even before you join the Bridgets community? A friend, a person who is willing to make a sacrifice for you, to make you feel better, who understands you. A holy friendship wherein a person, a true friend who is ready even to offer his or her life for you. Wow, that's awesome. Does it exist? Meron ba nun? Well, that is the image of a good and truthful friend who conforms, remember, the image of a good and truthful friend who conforms to Jesus and who live out the gospel principles. No, actually, that is the vocation Jesus wants to instill to every one of us, and need to be lived out and made it happen in the religious communities like yours. For what reason? To bear witness as beacons of hope to failed relationships outside. No, failed relationship even outside the walls of your convents. The walls of your convent where false friendship, distrust, and the like are common scenarios and common situation. A true friend is a treasure here in this earthly journey. A true friend should always lead you and bring you to a friendly relationship with Jesus. This friend should help you to know who Jesus is. Not to himself, not to herself, always pointing to Jesus. Is this a friend of yours? Do you have a friend like this? He or she is a treasure that you can behold, and a friend that who can rely on. So remember the words of Jesus during the Last Supper. Same in the Gospel of John, which we will going to hear these coming days, when he said, I will not treat you as a slave or call you like a slave, but a friend. So here, Jesus actually trying to make a paradigm shift from slavery to friendship, from sin to grace, from death to life. Friendship should bring life and still life. So, sabi niya, you said, I will not treat you as a slave or call you like a slave, but a friend who are willing to lay his life for a friend. Okay? So, that's a reflection. Question 3. 3. Do you have a friend or friends? Meron ba kayong friend or friends? Pag wala, katakot naman yun. Anyway, so mag-friends na tayo sa Facebook. Wala ba kayong Facebook no? Second question, is he or she a person to rely on, wherein you can entrust your sense of sacredness, the deeper sense of your person? Not just like Judas, okay? Is this, number 3, is this friend or friends of yours used to bring you to Jesus? Okay? So I'm going to post those 3 questions for your reflection. Anyway, thank you. Mahaba na yata. Okay? And have a nice, a blessed Holy Week and Holy Monday. God bless. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. Amen. Ciao, ciao. Peace and all good.